short extracts from our forthcoming Tamil comedy serial, Thuppariyam Sambu, totaling around 75 minutes. Arun, can you start the tape, please?
Vande Shri Vallabha Mahaganapate Tande Emakkarulvai Unadasiye Thudikkum Em Sirangalai Un Tumbikayal Thottu Tande Emakkarulvai Unadasiye Vande Shri Vallabha Mahaganapate.
On the threshold of the fourth decade, yet younger than yesterday, dedicated to film and television for information, education, advertising, and entertainment, Krishnaswamy Associates.
A systematic study of the relationship between cinema and society in this country convinced me that Indian cinema was being used by and large, with honorable exception, as an instrument of social dissent, if not degradation. A passion grew to make non-fiction films as instruments of ascent for human development in the widest sense of the term. And so was born Krishnaswamy Associates in 1964.
Knowledge explodes. It changes your very perception of India. The single most ambitious and most expensive non-fiction film ever produced here. The first Indian film to be distributed under the internationally renowned banner of Warner Brothers. Indus Valley to Indira Gandhi. In English, in magnificent Eastman color. An exciting creation of a decade of passionate research and 2 years of painstaking filming in over 120 locations, traveling 60,000 kilometers, crisscrossing India. A truly exceptional film on the 5,000-year drama of Indian history and culture, filmed in fabulous monuments of long-forgotten empires, as well as in living palaces of recent history. An encyclopedic sweep on the diverse facets of India, the religions, the wars, conflicts, intrigue. Women of India, ancient and modern. Our abject poverty and our heroic efforts to solve our problems, our moral strengths and weaknesses.
Attempts what no filmmaker, Indian or foreign, has so far attempted. Bold in conception and execution, credible and of absorbing interest, there is not a dull moment. The director unearths layer after layer the soul of India, the spirit that lies beneath the sediment, a moving, powerful and thorough piece of work, an objective and painstaking odyssey, a unique experience, possibly the most moving human document ever seen on the screen.
Indus Valley to Indira Gandhi is Krishnaswamy's magnum opus. The story of a glorious ancient civilization as it evolves into an energetic young nation. The rise, decay, and resurrection of India. An epic drama of the Indian people in 2 parts of about 2 hours each. Knowledge explodes. It changes your perception of India.
The second decade of the company
was devoted to a very wide range of material, winning in the process several national and international awards.
Over the 3 decades since then, Neyveli has become synonymous with energy, power, Shakti, a symbol of progress and prosperity. SAIL has a network of marketing outlets under the Central Marketing Organization and the Research and Development Center for Iron and Steel at Ranchi. The company accounts for an investment of over $4,600 million.
It goes through screening for separating various sizes and feeding them to different jigs. For over 2,000 years, India was the only source of diamond in the world, until it was discovered in Brazil in the 18th century. South Africa entered the scene in the 19th century.
Like the attributes of the infinite Brahman described in the Vedas, it is easier to say that the Paramacharya is neither this nor that. To most of us, he is an embodiment of several millennia of spiritual evolution, compressed in one frail frame, living in our midst today as God's most graceful manifestation of supreme love, compassion, and divine radiance.
Nalli, the tile with style, the walls smile. When it's Nalli tiles.
విరగకుండా పగలకుండా భద్రముగా ఉండునది స్టైన్లెస్ స్టీల్ తో చేయబడుటచే
It's coming.
We begin the function with an auspicious benediction from His Holiness the Shankaracharya of Kanchi through a special representative of the Kanchi Kamakoti Mutt. On receiving the prasadams from the Kanchi Mutt, Dr. S. Krishnaswamy, founder, managing director of Krishnaswamy Associates, will deliver the welcome address.
Your Excellency, Dr. Channa Reddy, our respected leader, Shri G.K. Mopanar, our revered grandfather image of our company, Dr. Silambichelvar Mapo Sivanyanam, Honorable Sri Arunachalam, the personification of humility of any person who can be in power. Srimati Soundara Kailasam, the spellbinding orator. His Excellency Mr. Hauser, the U.S. Consul General who has graciously arrived here to be amidst us. Our dear friends, Mr. Ram, Mr. Ravi, and Mr. Malan. And the special guest who has arrived as a bonus, Mr. Payaniandi, who has been our well-wisher right from our very early days. I must confess that while I have addressed many gatherings in many places in the world, this is something in which you feel a little self-conscious, since you are not talking about something abstract. It's easier for me to talk about world cinema. It's easier for me to talk about social impact of something. It's easier for me to talk about the relationship between politics and cinema, or of film technology, or the new horizons of video, than it is for me to talk in the 31st anniversary of something which I founded 3 decades ago. So if I fumble, you will forgive me because of this special occasion. I'm not used to having a prepared speech, and therefore I'm more prone to such fumbling, which does not normally happen, but it does happen today, and that is the speciality of the occasion. My mind goes back to 31 years ago when I had 14 rupees in my pocket to print a letterhead and start a company. We had inherited in our family, all of us, my brothers and sisters, a tremendous amount of goodwill, an extraordinary tradition of nationalism, which my father had inspired in us, instilled in us, and therefore an inheritance of culture and uncompromising values, but almost nothing by way of anything that is material. But I must say proudly that none of us have ever regretted that. It became a challenge to build something on one's own, and I must say with reasonable satisfaction that we have been able to do that in 30 years without ever yielding to the compulsions of commercial compromises, without ever yielding to the pressures of a changing society in terms of affecting perennial values. And therefore, I stand before you with a combination of a sense of humility and a sense of pride. I thought it would be most appropriate to have His Excellency here with us today because of his extraordinary erudition, his perspicacity, his perspicuity, his spontaneity to react to any situation, his spontaneity and scholarship to be able to talk on a wide variety of subject matter. It is indeed extremely gracious of him to have acceded to my request and allotted this very precious Sunday morning to us. That is true of Honorable Sri Arunachalam, who graciously agreed to fly down to attend this function and avoid any paraphernalia because of his extraordinary simplicity, which I mentioned earlier. I will be failing in my duty if I do not admire Sri G.K. Moopanar, because when somebody is humble and somebody can be with you whenever you need a helping hand, you tend to take him for granted. I want to assure you, sir, we don't do that. I hold you in the highest esteem as our most important leader, and would like to say that it is our privilege to have you with us to preside on this occasion. I welcome all of you. I welcome Mr. Ravi, the dynamic and the youngest leader of the largest national newspaper in the country. I doubt very much whether anybody at his age has ever become editor of such a major publication in this country. And we are proud of him. As much as we have been proud of the Hindu, which has become part of our tradition from our childhood, that you can't have your morning coffee without it. Mr. Ravi is a person of grace and charm, and we are indeed grateful to him that he has agreed to be here. I welcome you, sir. I welcome Mr. Malan, who has come up with what you may call a deadly combination. He is an extraordinary writer and popular journalist in his own right, and he has just taken over as editor of the perhaps still the largest circulated Tamil weekly, Kumudam. So the combination is something that is going to be of a landmark in journalism in Tamil, and we look forward to his blossoming into higher levels. And I welcome you, sir. Srimati Soundara Kailasam has never said no to us. It is my privilege to welcome her. We all know her scholarship. We all know how we can listen to her for hours without ever getting a word getting monotonous. Tamil is born in her blood. Oratory is part of her nerves. All that combined with a tremendous sense of integrity and wisdom with which the words flow out from her. And we are indeed proud to have her with us. As I said earlier, we are very happy, delighted to have Mr. Palaniandi with us. This is the fourth occasion involving a function organized by us during which Mr. Palaniandi, without any previous knowledge, has happened to be there by sheer accident. So I'm grateful to God that he is here by ESP. Even our invitation has not reached him. He lives in Trichy, as you all know, and as the former president of the TNCC and former member of parliament, he's put in perhaps 5 terms in the parliament, and it's our privilege to have this very senior statesman with us. There is a message of regret from Swami Shantananda of the Temple of Fine Arts in Singapore and Malaysia, because he's held up in Singapore. He was expected to arrive yesterday and participate in the function today. He has, however, been so gracious as to send a special messenger from Singapore with a message, who has arrived last night and whom we will be calling upon later during this occasion. I must now conclude my welcome address. It cannot go on and on. We have other people to listen to. I'm immensely delighted. It's no formality when I say I am obliged and delighted that all of you have turned up here in response to an invitation and spared your precious Sunday morning to spend half a day with us, almost. It gives me very great pleasure to welcome everybody around.
A large number of messages have come from friends and well-wishers from all over the country. In view of the tight schedules of the dignitaries, I'm not reading out all the messages. However, here are 3 messages from which I take the liberty of reading extracts. Shri Bhishma Narayan Singh, former governor of Tamil Nadu, has said in his message, I feel extremely happy to send my best wishes on the occasion of the 31st anniversary of Krishnaswamy Associates. The importance of the occasion is enhanced by the ceremony of the award of Certificate for Creative Excellence to be conferred upon the company by the Consul General of the United States of America. Sri Aurobindo's epic Savitri embodies the essence of Indian philosophical traditions and mysticism, and venturing into the making of a film based on the great classic is a praiseworthy attempt. The teleserial Upasana, based on the ancient Tamil classic, is an equally bold and innovative step. These efforts also demonstrate the national outlook, vision, and zeal of the promoters of the company for giving expression to the cultural spirit and ethos of India. I wish the celebrations all success. I am confident that Krishnaswamy Associates will march from progress to progress and not only continue but excel the good work being done by them. Honorable Shri Nedunjeriyan, Finance Minister Tamil Nadu, says in his letter, the company Krishnaswamy Associates has done yeoman service in the field of documentary films and telecasts. I convey my heartfelt congratulations for the best work done by Krishnaswamy Associates and best wishes for the great success in the future. Shri Mrinal Sen, the celebrated film director from Bengal, has signed under 31 exclamation marks, stating, I embrace you, Babu. Now, we take pleasure in offering garlands to the dignitaries on stage.
We have great pleasure in requesting respected Shri G.K. Moopanar to deliver his presidential address.
One second. Repeat. Please repeat.
பேரன்பிற்கும் பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய மேதகு ஆளுநர் அவர்களே, பேரன்பிற்கும் பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய அமைச்சர் திரு அருணாச்சலம் அவர்களே, ஐயா டாக்டர் மாப்போசி அவர்களே, பெருமதிப்பிற்குரிய அமெரிக்க நாட்டினுடைய பிரதிநிதியாக வந்து இங்கே அமர்ந்திருக்கின்ற பிரதிநிதி அவர்களே, திருமதி சவுந்தரம் கைலாசம் அவர்களே, திரு ரவி அவர்களே, திரு மாறன் அவர்களே, திரு பழனியாண்டி அவர்களே, என்னுடைய அன்பிற்குரிய கிருஷ்ணசாமி தம்பதிகளே, பெரியோர்களே, விழாவிலே கலந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்ற பெரியோர்களே, கிருஷ்ணசாமி அசோசியேட் சார்பாக நடைபெறுகின்ற இந்த ஆண்டு விழாவில் வந்து கலந்து கொள்வதிலே எனக்கு மிகுந்த பெருமை. நண்பர் கிருஷ்ணசாமி அவர்களை பார்க்கின்ற பொழுது, அவருடைய வளர்ச்சியினை பார்க்கின்ற பொழுது, அவர்கள் உருவாக்கி கொடுக்கின்ற பெருமைகளை எல்லாம் பார்க்கின்ற பொழுது அந்த பெருமை எனக்கு தான் கிடைக்கிறதா நான் நினைக்கிறது. காரணம், அவர் எங்களுக்கு பக்கத்து வீட்டுக்காரர். அவர் நான் பள்ளியை படித்துக் கொண்டிருந்த காலத்திலாம், பாபநாட்டில் படித்துக் கொண்டிருந்த காலத்திலாம் அந்த பக்கமாக போனால் இதான் டைரக்டர் சுப்பிரமணியம் வீடுன்னு காமிச்சிக்கிட்டே இருப்பாங்க. ஏன்னா அந்த வீடை பார்க்காம இருக்க முடியாது. டைரக்டர் சுப்பிரமணியம் அவர்கள் எங்கள் ஊருக்காரரு, எங்கள் வீட்டுக்கு பக்கத்துக்காரரு, அவருடைய குடும்பத்தினர் இந்த பெருமையில் ஈடுபட்டிருக்கின்றார் என்பதை எண்ணி பார்க்கின்ற பொழுது நான் உண்மையாகவே பெருமைப்படுகின்றேன், தனியான மகிழ்ச்சியும் அடைகின்றேன். சிலர் சில தொலையிலே வளர்வார்கள், பெருமை பெறுவார்கள், இது அவங்களோட முடிஞ்சு போயிடும். ஆனால் இந்த குடும்பத்தினர் தங்களுக்கு முழுமையாக கலைக்காகவே தங்களை அர்ப்பணித்துக் கொண்டதைப் போல மூன்றாவது தலைமுறையும் இன்றைய தினம் கலை குடும்பமாக திகழ்கின்ற ஒரு சூழ்நிலையை பார்க்கின்ற பொழுது உண்மையாகவே பெருமை அடைகின்றேன், மகிழ்ச்சி அடைகின்றேன். இப்படி பரம்பரையாக எல்லோரும் கலைக்கு தங்களை அர்ப்பணித்துக் கொண்டு, கலையினுடைய உயர்விற்கு தங்களை முழுமையாக அர்ப்பணித்துக் கொண்டு செயல்படுகின்ற ஒரு வாய்ப்பு அந்த குடும்பத்திற்கு கிடைத்திருக்கின்றது என்று சொன்னால் மிகுந்த பெருமை பெறக்கூடிய ஒன்று. நண்பர் கிருஷ்ணாமி அவர்களை பார்க்கின்ற பொழுதெல்லாம் பார்ப்பேன். அப்பொழுதும் சென்னைக்கு வந்தாலும் பார்ப்பார், சென்னையில் இருந்தாலும் பார்ப்பார், டெல்லிக்கு வந்தாலும் பார்ப்பார். ஏதாவது ஒரு புதிய ஆலோசனையை, புதிய யோஜனையை சொல்கின்ற பொழுது அது ஏதோ அவருக்கு பயன்படுகின்ற வகையிலே சூழ்கின்றார் என்று சொல்ல முடியாது. நாட்டிற்கும் நாட்டினுடைய பெருமைக்கும் உகந்த வகையில் ஏதாவது ஒரு ஆலோசனை கூறாமல் இருக்க மாட்டார். எப்பொழுது நான் பார்த்தாலும் தனக்கு வேண்டும் காரியம் செய்து கொள்ள வேண்டும் என்பதற்கு என்னிடம் வருவதில்லை. ஆனால் வருகின்ற பொழுதெல்லாம் கூறுகின்ற ஆலோசனைகளை கேட்கின்ற பொழுது சில நேரங்களில் சாதிக்கிறோம், சில நேரங்களில் சாதிக்க முடியலைங்கிறப்ப எனக்கு ரொம்ப வருத்தமாக இருக்கும். நாட்டினுடைய உயர்விற்காக, நம்முடைய தமிழகத்தினுடைய பெருமைக்காக இந்த அளவிற்கு அவரால் செய்ய முடிகின்றது, அப்படி செய்கின்றவருக்கு நாம் துணை நிற்க முடியவில்லை என்று நான் வருந்திய காலங்களும் உண்டு. ஆனால் இவைகளையெல்லாம் கடந்து, இடையிலே ஏற்படுகின்ற பல்வேறு இடையூறுகள் இவைகளையெல்லாம் கடந்து அவர் அடைந்திருக்கின்ற வளர்ச்சி என்பது நாம் எல்லாம் பெருமைப்படக்கூடிய வளர்ச்சி. அந்த வளர்ச்சி பாதையில் அவர் தொடர்ந்து செல்ல வேண்டும். தமிழகத்தினுடைய நல்வாழ்வுக்கும் நாட்டினுடைய நல்வாழ்வுக்கும் அவர்களை துணை நிற்க வேண்டும். அவர்கள் தன்னை அந்த குடும்பம் டைரக்டர் சுப்பிரமணியம் அவர்கள் எப்படி தேசிய நீரோட்டத்திலே தன்னை இணைத்துக் கொண்டு செயல்பட்டார்களோ அதே போல தேசம் ஒன்றுபட்டு நன்கு வாழ வேண்டும் என்ற உணர்வோடு வாழ்கின்ற குடும்பம் அந்த குடும்பம். அந்த குடும்பம் வாழ்கின்றது, உயர்கின்றது, பெருமைப்படுகின்றது என்று சொன்னால் அதில் நம்ம எல்லோருக்கும் பெருமை, தமிழர்களாக இருக்கின்ற எல்லோருக்கும் பெருமை, இந்தியர்களாக இருக்கின்ற எல்லோருக்கும் பெருமை. அப்படிப்பட்ட பெருமையை அந்த குடும்பத்தினருக்கு இறையருள் முழுமையாக தந்து இன்னும் வாழ்விலே பல சாதனைகளை அவர்கள் புரிவதற்கு இறையருள் துணை நிற்க வேண்டும் என்று வேண்டி என்னுடைய வாழ்த்துக்களை கூறி இந்த உயரிய விழாவில் இருந்து கலந்து கொண்டு அவர்களுக்கு வாழ்த்து கூறுகின்ற வாய்ப்பு கிடைத்ததிலே நான் உண்மையாகவே பெருமைப்படுகின்றேன் என கூறி நன்றி கூறி அமைகின்றேன். வணக்கம்.
We are fortunate to have the captain of journalism in South India, editor of The Hindu, Shri N. Ravi, to deliver a speech and release the first copy of the 31st anniversary souvenir. We request the doyen among Tamil orators, Srimati Soundara Kailasam, to receive the first copy and also to address the gathering thereafter.
Your Excellency, Your Excellency, the Governor of Tamil Nadu, respected Mr. Mupana, Mr. Maposi, Mr. Hauser, Mrs. Kailasam, Mr. Arunachalam, Mr. Malan, Mr. Pranil Nandi, Dr. Krishnaswamy, and Dr. Mohana Krishnaswamy, ladies and gentlemen. Dr. Krishnaswamy and his works are too well known for me to expatiate on them now. Let me, however, address the question of the relevance of Dr. Krishnaswamy and Krishnaswamy and Associates in the context of the current changes in the electronic media and the ongoing debate. We are right now in the midst of an agonizing debate on the future of our electronic media. The profusion of satellite channels in English and the Indian languages has given rise to varying fears, varying suggestions, and varying responses. In the first place, some have raised the specter of political brainwashing by news and current affairs programs. In my view, such fears would seem to be highly exaggerated. The main foreign English channels available in India, BBC and CNN, may have their own priorities and even biases, but I do not see in them a particularly invidious invasion of even from our ultra-nationalist standpoint. The second aspect being debated relates to what is termed cultural imperialism, the fear of Indian culture being swamped by the productions of the television studios of US and other countries. Even this aspect often tends to be greatly exaggerated. A look at the trends and even foreign-owned networks seen in India shows that the producers are seeking to relate more and more to Indian culture using Indian artists and Indian themes. Such a course for them is clearly a commercial necessity if they are to attract the viewers. Further, many of the Indian language satellite channels are run by Indian film and media firms producing their own fare or using old film material. Nevertheless, while the fears voiced over both the political domination and cultural imperialism would seem exaggerated, there are some elements of genuine concern. For instance, the English-educated urban sections, particularly the youth, on a diet of foreign English news programs, may tend to lose interest in national affairs. Again, they may tend to ignore Indian culture and Indian works. Coming to the responses to these challenges posed by satellite television, there have been twofold responses. The first instant reaction has been to reach for the rule book, to speak in terms of restrictions and bans. On the other hand, when one appreciates the true nature of this challenge, the response called for is clearly a positive one, avoiding a restrictive mentality. The challenge then is to bring out the best of Indian creative talent and culture to television to match and outdo the fare that comes from abroad. It is in this positive context, in the context of this positive response, that creative artists and producers of the caliber of Dr. Krishnaswamy can play a vital role. Starting with a firm foundation in academics at Columbia University, a positive